especially regarding the holographic universe. Y'all, just to let y'all know that video has been taken down off of YouTube. And
Wait, taken down.
yeah, it was taken down. And I said,
Okay.
why did they take it down? And so I listened
Wow.
to the whole thing again. And it was, the video was very powerful. There was a lot of information in there because everybody was chiming in on the holographic universe
Mm-hmm.
on that topic. And we went everywhere talking about COVID and everything. And they were saying something that something about us mentioning COVID is incorrect information. And I sent back in a reply. I said, we're not saying nothing that's on YouTube or that's on any kind of social media or people read things. It's just another way of doing censoring. That's all that is.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised though, to be honest with you. Like, out of all those things, and when if you did you go back and re-listen to the video about the part that they were conflicted about?
Yeah. Well. Can you see? A couple people said had a comment about COVID, and they said in the area of it of where they say that the disagreement was at. It's like when
Uh-huh.
young brother Marcus has said about his mother being sick, and he was trying to get her to try another way. And
Oh,
yeah,
right. I
and,
remember he was
right.
on there.
And
Okay.
everybody kind of like chimed in on that, and they were speaking
Mm-hmm.
about how people can buy into certain realities and certain concepts that's out there in front of them, and not taking the time to study and go back and see. And so they
Mm-hmm.
said that was kind of like whatever, whatever. But
Wow.
I can put that uploaded to a to the blockchain. That I can.
And that's yeah, that was a really good one. And my whole thing is that I don't understand how, if it's supposed to be free speech and everything, like
Right,
how in the world can you say that someone's just explaining their situation, not
right.
giving out a description to the world? That's yeah, that's a trip.
Well, what happens with that is that when you start talking about things that have been around for years, I mean centuries, and then you come up with these folks that are making money off of this new stuff, that's the issue.
Conflict.
Okay,
Trying
I
to
hear you.
keep the power. The power.
And I know there's been way more conflicting statements and thoughts concerning this virus you know, uh, from doctors to all kind of stuff who didn't necessarily agree with it. So that's just a nitpicky thing. But but at least we're on the right track. At least we know we're saying something that's
Get somebody attention,
it's
and, and,
right.
and I don't think that we're saying anything wrong. We're just
Right.
speaking our truth, our experience, and should never
Hmm.
be no censorship in that. That's why I got into that blockchain, since I can take none of this stuff down. But
Um,
I'm gonna go back over there and write a little blog about it,
hmm.
and then I'm gonna upload it to the blockchain. And that way it won't get taken down, and I can always share it, and they can't take it down after that.
I love it. I think you should. But and then I just want to just add this really quick, that how contradictory I want to say the powers that be are about this the social distancing, so you're not too close to people. And I only reference this because when my mom flew out to Texas, she was shocked that she had two other people cloistered so close next to her when they were talking about all this keeping social distance on an airplane, for a duration of time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to me, I feel like they really are picking and choosing what to enforce and what not to enforce.
And who to enforce?
And then it makes you wonder, well, if that's the case, then you know is it even true that being that close to someone actually you get the virus? So that was all I wanted to add on that.
Well, welcome everybody who showed up today. We're gonna talk about higher consciousness and thinking higher consciousness of spiritual science, spiritual technology. Uh, how certain topics and contemplating on certain higher vibration things can elevate you. to more expansiveness. When you look at yourself from a multitude of different perspectives. Uh, I'm not going to go into Medu, but in the Medu, all the deities that's in Medu, you're supposed to look at yourself as these deities in the psychological format. Like Asar is you, and uh, it's a female as well. You know, both of these they're interchangeable. So when you're looking at yourself in a divine state that you're connected to everything, it changes. It just changes everything. I don't know why I keep how I don't know why, but we got to keep saying that wholeness. You know, everything is connected. Because if you think everything is connected, you'll be a part of everything. And the science has been proving all that. I ain't gonna go into all the science stuff right now. I just want to have a stimulating conversation. I went over a lot of different topics in certain books that I read and pulled out some of these insights that they speaking about. And I just like to talk about it. And then at the end, I have a nice video that I like for us to listen to hopefully expand this a little bit more than what we already are, you know. So we're gonna move on to the next slide. Okay. Uh, I will be asking each one to read a little bit, and then we're gonna discuss it. You know, whoever read something, go ahead and tell us what you got from it. Then we'll pass it around. We'll see who all get from it, and then from that information, what everybody get, we can look at it and build a whole nother understanding from all what we couldn't find. Make some jambalaya. Okay. Uh, Self-awareness is key. All right. Here's the first contemplation. I want to do this before we even get into this. I want us to do a quick little meditation just to get centered and grounded. Okay. And it's going to clear our palate. Okay. Everyone, breathe in through your nose slowly and deeply. Hold it. Exhale through your mouth. Hold it. Inhale through your nose slowly and deeply. Hold it. Exhale. Inhale through your nose slowly and deeply. Hold it. Exhale through your mouth. Experience what you feel. Open up to receive any wisdom that you get from this presentation. Anything that doesn't resonate, just parking lot. It may come back later and resonate with you, but try to pull out all you can. All right. Now, self-awareness is key. Why I start off with this, give a little context, is that when you become aware of something, there's no more mystery. There's no more fear. There's no misunderstanding because you're aware. You know now. And awareness is something key to you, but it works with everyone. But you gauge yourself with it. You gauge yourself with what you're aware to today, and you can see which you'll be aware to tomorrow that will expand your consciousness. You know, like all the time you read fiction books, you read nonfiction books. You know, I mean not nonfiction, science fiction. You read a lot of science fiction books, right? So you always read science fiction. Now, what am I saying by being aware of other things and changing your perspectives about it? Is so you would say that since you always read science fiction books, all of a sudden switch over and read some poetry. It that will expand what you already knew from that scientific information, and you acquire that energy of that scientific information and probably pull some resources for your life. You got that in there. Then if you switch up and then start reading something else with a whole different kind of content, like as in poetry, and see how they put the words together and make them flow and the rhythmic flow. Then you could be combining that rhythmic flow with this scientific understanding. In other words, is that you're constantly building your awareness on something, but you're not forgetting the other stuff that you had, or any stuff that don't serve you no more, you may forget. But things that still serve you with your ascension, you're not gonna lose. It's gonna always be it's always gonna be there to keep propelling you to ascend higher and higher. So this is why I say self-awareness is the key. Now, being aware and having more experiences will expand the mind and leads to illumination. The long-term process of spiritual growth that will advance you into a higher and deeper state of consciousness and vibration. Now that says a lot. You can just read that and understand that. Now let's use it as an example. How would you use that as an example? Okay, now let's bring something to our awareness. Maybe some of us is aware of this, maybe some of us is not aware of this, but this is an example. What do you see in the picture? Anybody? You know what that is?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Got a not sure. Okay, so everybody think you can describe it? What do it look like?
What the inside of the world or inside of the earth?
Okay, that's good. That was great. That is the inside of something. Okay. Now there's I really I wouldn't say it's a theory. I would say shit, it's a fact. I would say it's a fact. Why? This is a picture of the hollowed moon. Now
Wow.
there's a school of thought that's saying that the moon is a constructed object. It's been made. It's not natural. And a lot of the evidence that says this is that a couple of times when they drop stuff on the moon, it rings like a bell. Only thing that rings like a bell is mean that it's hollow. Another way you can look at it is you look at all those spots on it, those craters been hidden it. They don't go no deeper than they all depths that stop at a certain length. They don't go no deeper. No matter how big the hit of you will see on the moon, the depth is all the same. So that's saying there's something real hard up under there. And not to mention that when they drop heavy atoms on it, it runs for a long period of time. You can look that up on YouTube or internet, and you'll find that out. Just like I was saying, like, why YouTube want to bring down the stuff that I'm speaking about, because it's already out there on YouTube. Take down minds. But anyway, so that was just kind of like an example. Now, I know everyone have the understanding of what the moon is and what it's for. Now, just to add to that, here's a concept that they have been doing certain experiments, and they found that the moon got a hard case around it, and then why it doesn't spin. There's a lot of strange things that's happening. So anybody with an inquisitive mind and say, that's unusual. So that right there just brings more awareness. Like,
Okay.
who ever heard about the hollow moon theory? If you never heard about it, say I haven't.
I haven't.
You never have. Oh,
Mhm.
okay, you can look it up, and you'll find a lot of scientists and stuff talking about the hollow moon and hollow Earth. But the thing of it is, hollow Earth is not so much like a hollow; it's like a honeycomb. Can't be hollow. It's like a craters to go inside of it. There's many ancient texts that says that advanced civilizations, when a civilization is more advanced, they tend to go into the earth instead of on top of the earth, because on top of the earth you substitute all kind of dangers and things like that. Maybe the same thing inside the earth, but maybe a different technology. I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, I am a part about that ancient mystery and knowledge. Just while we're talking about this, so we all a part of that. So I just want to give an example of self-awareness is the key. By being aware of certain things and learning things, you bring a little bit more understanding to who you are and how to make decisions in your world. You know, I like to say this: your cosmology and the way you live your life and environment of how you think the universe is, you'll make decisions in that way. If you think the universe is whole, you'll make kind of whole decisions. If you think it's separate, you make separate decisions.
Mm.
You know, so. Anybody got any comments on this one?
Well, the only thing I want to say that now that you broke down that this is actually the moon and just the different theories of what people think it is or what it's not, I think, like you're saying, self awareness is the key. That means even as I want to say, as small or as big, it's just knowing what's going on inside of yourself. Um, because a lot of the things I think we're just blindly existing in the midst of it, including known stuff. I can't sit here and tell you I even know how my body actually physically works on all levels. So self awareness is the key. So if you don't know what's going on the inside, you'll think that the perception on the outside is what's reality.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, indeed. Oh, and I want to add this. I need to, I need to find a book on this, but I heard different black scholars speak of this. But I need to find a book on it. That about the Zulu tribe. Zulu tribe is one of the oldest tribes that's been in Africa. I don't know if everyone know that, and they all kind of connected. But there's a part of the Zulu tribe when they were saying when they it's written in their language saying that they were here before the moon was here.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
and
believe it.
yeah, and you can if you do certain research in certain places, you'll find this information there. Because I kind of feel that it's real very prevalent now because disclosure, they letting out a lot of these files about aliens and science and things that they got. So this is why the information is all out here. And I advise everyone to sift through it and what resonate with you, stick with it and do your thing with it. Do your thing with it. This is why I like to talk about it because I don't know everything, but I do know there's a thing called omnipotency. And by me understanding omnipotency, it's kind of simple. To deal with omnipotency, you need to be around people that have information. So if you surround yourself with uh, seekers or wise people, you will get that person. You know? That's enough on that awareness. Anybody else want to say something about self-awareness being key? I know you got some. Everybody got some stories about. They can come back and say, "I wasn't aware of this, but now I am, and I don't do it no more." Or it ain't got me again because now I know. But you don't forget. Don't forget. Don't forget. Just you forgive. Don't forget. Because soon you forget stuff that happened to you. Just a second. Oh, okay. Moving on. Here we go. This is. All right. Okay. I guess I did do it like that. Okay. Stay connected. Sikara, you want to read the first two? And can you see it? And tell us what you think about the first. You're on mute. There you go.
Your picture covers that first line.
My picture?
Yeah, I don't know if that's from or for. FRO is all I see. It said we can easily and unknowingly block the path of the flow of the creative thought energy, and then I see FRO.
Thought and energy from the source of all. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. The picture done that.
Yeah, your picture is sitting on that.
Okay. Something.
Wait, what from my screen?
Something went wrong.
So she's saying that your picture, like your picture,
the corner, yeah,
right from Zoom is blocking it.
I know, and I'm moving. I'm moving it around.
No, it's not doing it here for me though. Yeah, I'm trying to see where I can go. No.
I'm gonna read it.
Oh, I can read it.
You can read it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I read it. Okay. First of all, stay connected. We can easily and unknowingly block the path of the flow of the creative thought energy from the source of all things, universal consciousness. 2, we are all children of the Creator, God, or the universal consciousness. It says the spiritual part of us is directly connected to the physical part of us, is directly connected to the universal consciousness.
Like a ladder. Okay, now let me stop right there. Now, this information right here that this first part is where I get this. I got this from Mother and Irene. Oh my goodness, Aurobindo. Let me read this. There you go. Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo and Mother. This is what these first 2 slides is about, right? And why them? This would to make it popped up. We're in her page. We're speaking about Ken Weber, integral method theory. Then come to find out that we do a little bit more deeper search, and you see that everybody always build off of the old, but some of them don't say attribute what they got. I do. I want to stay in that limits and then people know where it came from when I can't do that. And so this is, I have the link at the bottom, and I'm gonna share it. And so I would like, if anybody never seen this video, I would like you to see it. It's I think it's like 40 minutes, and it's a collection of their great wisdom, and it is so great and inspiring. And I suggest you to listen to it, and just listen to it. It's great. It is great. But I'm gonna go over some of the things what they were saying, and I kind of changed the wording of it a little bit because the way it was written is kind of real obscure. And then sometimes I made it try to make it poetic, but still keep exactly what they're saying. So it's kind of like my words and their words. I was gonna just show the video, but it's just too long. So I just want to go over some of these things to get this mindset up until at the end, everything gonna come together. It's gonna come together. The dots will be getting connected at the end. So this is from Mother and Aurobindo. I can't forget his name. Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo. So
it's Sri Aurobindo.
Sri Ario. Yeah, I know it's some kind.
Aurobindo.
In there somewhere. Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo. Great thing. I need y'all to listen to that if y'all could. Okay, so as Delisha was saying, we can easily and unknowingly block the path of the flow of the creative thought energy from the source of all things universal. Oh no. Okay, this is not Sri Aurobindo. Yeah, this This is from Augie Nass. Augie Nass is another book that I'm reading. Spiritual science and spiritual science and thinking, higher conscious, and how to access universal consciousness in his book. It's a good book, easy read too, and he holds a lot of questions and solutions solutions in it too. I don't know where you don't say where it reads like he just speaking to you. Really good, easy read book.
What's the name of the book?
The name of the book is Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking, and How to Access the Universal Consciousness. It's like that.
A must buy.
Aggie Most?
Yeah, Augie Nass.
Aggie, oh, he
Aggie Nass.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, you can look him up on YouTube. He got some. He make you think, and this is what it's all about. Is to make us think more creative, more expansive, and in a
This will help
different
us understand our lectures in school.
how.
This book will help, and his videos will help us understand more what Steven and all them be talking about.
Yeah, it does.
Because I'm
It
lost.
it does. It does. It does. It does. And also, we can talk about it amongst ourselves because I got certain insights that I'm just holding on to. I'm being the patient servant and just listening and taking in all I can. But I do have some things to say. I'm just holding back. I'm learning. I'm learning. But I love to share certain things. Some certain because a lot of things that I share is from my experience. I don't too much like to share my experience with people who I don't know what you're gonna do with my experience or something. But I'm just more reserved with it. And every yeah. And one of my second teachers, uh, they had a problem with me not exposed, not because it was a kind of program we had to do some stuff on Facebook, talking stuff, and it was I was reserved by doing it. I did every so often, but it's just something that I work with. I don't. If I'm gonna speak to somebody, I don't speak to you. I just won't have everything I say out there. Anybody can take it and get it misunderstood. It happens. So this first one, what Augie is talking about is you can stop the creative flow. And one way you can stop the creative flow that's flowing to you is being in a different kind of energy field. So if you constantly, like Shikari said earlier, she stay in gratitude and thanks for the future to bring back gratitude and thanks and abundance to her. So and it works that way because the universal consciousness or the God or creator, I don't think he's pretty he understand it understand English and everything, but also its major component that it really do get is your emotions, your vibration and how you feel and what you emote. That is that's your energy going up saying, hey, this. Now, if you have your energy going up, say, hey, I'm gratitude, the universal consciousness will meet that gratitude and always send you that energy of gratitude. That's how sometimes you can stop your flow by you doing certain things, stop yourself. Okay. Now, the second one is we are all children of the Creator, God, or the universal consciousness. The spiritual part of us is directly connected to the physical part. And the physical part of us is directly connected to the universal consciousness. I messed up typo. That's a typo. Sorry about that. But I'm going to explain that to you. The spiritual part of us is what it's saying is the spiritual part of us is connected to our physical, our body, our soul, our spirit is connected to our body. But there's another aspect of our spirit that's higher, that's connected to the universal consciousness. And we can talk about this gap later on. The gap could be when you leave duality out of it. And that gap is where duality is gone. because when that duality is gone, you win universal consciousness. But in a lower soulful third dimension realm, there's duality. But then in a higher realm, there's no duality. So when we're all children of the Creator God, universal consciousness. The spiritual part of us is directly connected to our physical part, and our physical part is directly connected to, and it poster says our physical body is connected to our spiritual higher self, and our spiritual higher selves is connected to you, consciousness. This is the way my mind wanted to write, but I wrote something else on that. So that's explained. Now the last one. Here, this is pretty deep. I don't know if y'all can see this one because this thing is in the way. Let me see if I can move it. Yeah. Okay. The last one. We are all equal in the eyes of God, the universal consciousness. Therefore, when we complain about someone else, another race, another ethnic group, by saying they are horrible, they are bad people, we are degrading ourselves. By degrading others, it all falls back on us because they are in our lives as a function of our mind manifesting them in this way, because this is a mind created universe. And if we believe something that is part of us is of lesser value or unworthy, our mind has determined we are unworthy of all, we are unworthy of the full gratitude and reward of the universal consciousness of Godhead. What that statement there, when I was reading this, what brought to mind is that uh, like we are one. So when you're looking at someone, you're seeing into their soul, and then as you see into their soul, you see into their spirit. And as you see into their spirit, they see into your spirit. And our spirit is all connected. And our souls are personality parts connected to the body. With that Godhead, spiritual self, higher self, transcendental self, transcendented self is above that soul self. That the transcendental self is like the primordial essence of it. It's unborn, undied. So when we're ultimately looking at someone else, we're looking at ourselves and we're saying, you ain't no good. We kind of like sending that right back to us. And it's the same thing as like when you holding someone down and not letting them progress, you're holding yourself down and not letting yourself progress, because you never know the next person who progress, you will progress with them. You know, like the 100 monkey theory, everybody get connected. Everybody will ascend to that. Yeah, I'll go to the next one.
Wait. 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 Okay, I was gonna say no. Hold on.
You can make a comment.
Okay, well, for one, just the whole idea that how we may perceive people based on our experience. This particularly number 3, that what we think about somebody else being horrible or bad. It's also kind of a reflection of what we will. I want to say what we will experience. And it may not necessarily be directly the same experience, but it'll show up in a different way.
Okay.
And, and I also feel that when these things occur in our lives, it's not always just about what they're doing, but how we choose to respond, I think is the more important factor, because you can't necessarily control what someone else does that may not be good, which in fact may not be good at all.
Hmm.
And it may be very true. I mean, we can look at the George Floyd, I want to say, murder, and say, oh, this.
Yeah, I said it was a murder.
Yeah, right. And it's like that person wasn't good, to do that. And clearly, I don't even want to judge even this man harshly, even though it was clearly wrong and obvious what he did, that he had a mental illness. So I think what I'm learning from what you just said in this moment, learning to have another mindset about the ills of life that show up as wrong, and having a layer of I want to say compassionate understanding. Only somebody sick would do something like that. Only somebody who has mental illness would rape people, land, and take from others and harm people. And so, and who knows where that may have stemmed from? It may not even been their own fault. They may have been raised this way. And so I'm just looking at it through a different lens. Because at first I had a problem with this statement. I'm going to be honest with you. I did. I was like, wait, but he just killed somebody. And then I think of some of the things that I've endured in my personal life. I want to get into things that I heard about, and realizing that you can actually become them by getting stuck and not able to progress because of them. And ultimately, you become them by not being able to progress, not being able to forgive, and become the truth of who you are. So I believe that these things, we're like stewards of consciousness, stewards on this planet, stewards of finances. And I think we're tested by our walk of life individually and collectively. So thank you for expanding my mindset. Because like I said, at first I was like, well, wait a minute, I didn't do that to them. They fucked me up, but I get it. I get it. And you're right. There is a sense of unworthiness and stuff that comes like, oh, I ain't gonna never make it. They didn't done this to us for, time and time again. And then you kind of buy into their whole template that they've set up, and now you're going to pattern your thoughts under that. Right. And so this is great. And when I look at this picture here, all the connections, it's like, just because I might be on the upper left hand of the globe doesn't mean that I'm not affecting somebody down on the south of me or on my right or whatever direction. And so I see this because we're all children of the Creator God, the universal consciousness, that to not stay connected and not try to be this one road show.
Individuality.
Right. And it's good to be your authentic self. I'm with that. Yes. But in that, it's a ripple effect that transcends your time and space. And we have to trust that that is true and not worry about what we see or what we don't see as divine and perfect in our life. So thank you for this. And thank you for helping me grow in this life.
Everybody else want to know?
Yeah, now what I got from that last part, because I was sifting it through the same way as Delicia, but what I hear is I had to take it to something simple that I've been doing myself. Is like, I hate gossip. I hate gossiping, and just the thought of it just works me. But then I catch myself gossiping.
I hear you.
So then I stop myself and I say, okay, now, that's not good. So I try to bring myself out of that realm into the realm that does not elevate gossiping, because that's what I'm trying to be about. I'm not trying to elevate gossiping, but I'll catch myself in a conversation with particularly one person, and we're getting into it, but we're getting into it about somebody else's behavior.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can explain somebody else.
Yeah.
Explain somebody else. Also, here you said you see yourself gossiping.
No. Yeah, catch myself.
Well, what is this? What is this? How are you being aware of yourself gossiping, and you're aware that gossip is not good, and you aware that you change it?
What happens?
In other words, some people won't be. Sometimes some people won't even have the awareness that this is not good. This is not gossip. Some people just don't have the awareness.
Yeah, I know it's not good for me because I'm holding on to something that I don't think is a good thing. You know, that's not what I want in my energy.
Yeah.
But I find myself being that until I catch myself.
Right. Some people can't catch themselves.
Yeah.
Go all the way out.
You know, and it comes to mind that old scripture that says that, you know, he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Right.
Because, you know, even though like we may not be as deeply entrenched in certain things, but I guarantee you, I may have not necessarily robbed anybody per se, but I bet you I robbed and lost and messed off a whole lot of time and the resources that the Lord has blessed me with.
Okay.
So, you know, there's really no getting away from it. And so that's why I said you helped me grow with this, because when I said this, I was like, I don't agree with this. I'm not, but I ain't gonna fight my husband on no Zoom call either.
Yeah, that was that awareness drawing back.
Right.
It's like, okay, now that's not the point.
Right.
The point is how is this affecting me? And am I mirroring that?
Right.
Am I mirroring that? Yeah.
And the whole thing of it is really just releasing, accepting, and letting go and letting be. You know, that I can say that because I see myself not doing it at times. You know, that's awareness. When you understand a certain part, and then you can always see yourself doing it. So like when I feel that, you know, sometimes I feel that ego be coming up over a conversation, and I sense it, that can get cut off. That can get cut off real quick because humility. I'm kind of seeing myself a lot of times not always trying to be right and not always having something to say neither. You just be sitting back and observe things, observe. And not always have something to say about it. You can have your inner dialogue, but you never know. Sometimes you may say something, spark something in other people that, you know, either good or bad. And especially when we're all figuring this thing out. We all are. I don't think no one has the best of all knowledge, you know, but we all have pieces of it. And then if we understand that we all have pieces of it, and then put all that together and make a plan with it, I think it'd be a good thing to do. It'd be good. I'm gonna go to the next one. Anybody want to comment on this one? Now I would like for somebody to read these three here. And you know, this is about the soul.
Okay. I read. Okay, go for it.
To read this because I want to hear what you say about the soul. Could you elaborate about the soul? You can first read these 3 bullet points.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Okay. The soul is a spark of life with an individualized perception originating from the universal mother, father, universal consciousness. Could it be that the ego part of the mind has created our body and the hologram illusion, what we call life, and our universe is actually not real, but the only thing real is our spirit, soul, or real higher self?
Spirit, soul, high, those are just interchangeable. That's why I put them on there.
Oh. So is the spirit and the soul 2 different things? I thought it was
2 different things. They're 2 different things. This is I'm just using a multitude of words, and then we can break that down because I don't want to just say soul. I just don't want to say spirit, or higher self, because sometimes people interchange these. I'm just trying to meet all facets.
So would this explain why death seems to occur everywhere, because it is not a creation of God, universal consciousness, but what is created by universal consciousness? the soul lives on forever.
Typo. And I'm going too fast. Now that last one, what it was said is that all right, this is arguments. God, universal consciousness, but what is created by the universal consciousness is the soul. Okay, what it's saying is death. How then we got to break down, get a definition of what death is. You know, that's one thing that when I put these kind of topics up, I really like for us to define some of these things so we get an understanding of it. Because like death, a lot of people say death is transition. You know, there is no death. It is on the energy transfer. But in this last one, what I was trying to state, my second mistake on this PowerPoint, is that death is something that's not of divinity. You know, it's finite, and anything that's divine is infinite. And some sciences says that our telomere was been tampered with to make us die. Some say that we see it for thousands of years. Because the human body is made to regenerate itself. The same cells are not the same cells as in your body just a year ago. Your body totally rejuvenated. Your body is not the same body as when you was 15, when you was 3. The body changes and develops. But one thing that don't change is basically you can say your soul or your higher self or your I am, that conscious part of you that's aware of all of these parts of you, that don't change. That's the immortal part. So in that last one, that part of you goes on forever, but the physical existence is not. What Augie was trying to say, saying is that the death is not of divinity, but goes on forever. I apologize. I wanted to clear that one up. Anybody want to talk about the first two or the last one?
Well, I want to say that, um, well, first of all, I'm just at a different place about understanding about the soul, the spirit, and I do understand about the physical body. And it's really interesting because as I was saying, having happy heavenly birthday to my uncle and to Brother Nomad, just over the couple of days, the question that came to my mind, it says, well, who says that they're in heaven? Okay. And that was new for me because I always just said, oh, when someone dies, they go to the quote unquote the other side or to heaven. And I think until we go through that process of understanding what actually happens to our soul, our spirit, that we can only assume or say this is something that possibly happens because we haven't finished the cycle that we're in yet.
Hmm.
And death is just a part of, I want to say, the progression or procession of life, because we all go through a life, death, life cycle. Just like you die to the old parts of yourself. The person you were last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you've died to a lot of that. And now you're in a higher state of consciousness and being. So yet thus we've experienced death in different ways. It's not just the physical death. So I just want to say that, you know, I think death is just a part of the life cycle in this embodiment that we've come to understand because we've seen our loved ones and people go. And what the soul does, that's what they tell us, that it lives on forever. But we don't know for sure. So I stand in a position of, I'm afraid of going through the transition. I'm not there yet. I understand it better. Um, as far as knowing that I'm going to go through it, I think about it a lot more, maybe because I'm at midlife now. And also, too, just like realizing that we're not, everything that we're experiencing isn't necessarily real, like what you were saying, bullet point two. What we're calling life, is partially an illusion. So even when we're asleep, we're in a whole different embodiment and experience. And then we come back and we awaken back in this physical body. So what comes to my mind is just really getting to understand us in this embodiment, what happens to my spirit, those other parts of myself when I'm in my state of sleep. And when I come back into my body, when I wake, open my eyes, and where have I been? And once I leave this physical body, where do I really go? So this is deep. Thank you. That's all I have to say. It's just like there's so much more to
So,
this about the soul. And and really I would like to go even deeper. Maybe, I mean, obviously I don't want to interrupt what you're doing right now, but going deeper into really what is the soul? And what is the spirit? How are they different?
okay, let's start with that. Let's start with that. Okay, I like everybody to chime in. Um, give an explanation of the soul and the spirit and the difference of. I'll go first. Well, I go first. I was reading in the Medu that the soul, the soul is of the earth, of the earth. It's considered the ka, I mean the ba of the earth, the soul, and every human soul is connected. Every human is a part of that soul, and there's another part that says that there's so many certain types of souls on this earth, classifications of soul. I'm explaining something I read a long time ago, but it's very interesting for me. That how I was breaking down the soul, that there are soul groups, right? And these soul groups, something like 7 soul groups, or I don't know, these soul groups, and everybody in these soul groups are of that soul spirit essence and living their life off wherever they at for that soul essence and certain type of personality type. And the spirit is that greater, higher, primordial God self that's connected to everything in the universe. And a soul is kind of like the personality of one of those 7 soul groups, so I heard them say, or bless you, or there and that soul is connected to the earth, because there's I don't know, but I do understand this by me practicing Kundalini Reiki and have my feet in the dirt and doing certain meditations that you can connect to the earth and your energy, consciousness, mind will go. You can send your to the center of it and see some things. You do it.
I think I understand.
Huh?
No, I think I understand when you're talking about soul groups.
Yeah.
um and then I want to say, then my thought is that before we even incarnated into our mother's womb, if you will,
Mhm.
um then we probably already knew we were coming here. And I was going to say, that this is deep. I'm gonna leave it be, but this is really really interesting, because even when I look at my nephew that was just born, when I look into his eyes, I'm like, where did he come from? And I know that he came from a very soulful place wherever he came from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
We
I've
are.
never felt that way when I've seen a newborn child. And this is not my first niece and nephew, and I said, my gosh, where did he come from? And I felt like he's such a deep soul, like you could, it's in his eyes already. So I feel it differently.
This information that we're talking about is really there's a language barrier because a lot of our emotions and maybe images that we see it's kind of difficult to find the words to really explain what you see and feel. This is why we like, oh yeah, I get it, but it's kind of like, But then when you really get it is when you start living by it. You start living by it, then you find out that you are doing it. You'll be the last to know that you are enacting these kind of principles into your life. We are always the last to know because you have your mind focused, your attention on doing this in this correct way, and you're so busy doing this in this correct way, you'll lose focus that you're doing this in the correct way, and you're one of the forerunners of this, and you know because your mind is focused on attaining that. But then myself, I learned you got to pull yourself back and keep looking at yourself. That way you can constantly measure your growth. I think that's kind of that really hit like right now in this period. That really helped me out a lot for me to uh, every day I'm reflecting. I'm reflecting so much more and breathing different. All kind of things that happen. I'm just trying to stay focused, clear, and keep my eye on the prize. And basically, really, I'm not really doing nothing but loving my wife and continue what I love to do, and it manifests. Uh, manifest how it manifests. You know, because I'm not doing anything for something, just doing it. 'Cause I like to do it. I want to do it. And it's kind of strange. It's you live in your happiness, living your life in happiness. Anybody else want to tackle some of these? Okay, we're going. Wait, oh, okay, Sakara. I see you on mute, Sakara. I see you was talking. Yeah, I see you talking.
And I didn't talk so much. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, you was talking about happiness.
Happiness.
So they were talking about. They broke down first. It was like peace and happiness, and then were they the same, or what's the difference between one or the other? And then another one was guidance and direction. What's the difference? So it got really esoteric. Then when you were talking about oh my God, here goes my head. Especially the concept when Delisha as well was talking about newborns. I've been in that situation myself, but in studying this particular thought of mine, they're saying that, what you're doing now is what you chose to come back to do. Yeah. And that it's a continuation of already existence. And that all we are just manifestations at different points. So I can only grasp what I'm doing now. I understand the idea of things in another progressive way. But right now, I've got to deal with this moment. And spiritually, let my soul embrace the goodness of spirit.
Ashe.
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 I shall.
Anybody else? Okay, let's see what we got for this next one. Okay.
Oh, and genuflect.
Genuflect. What is that?
Yeah, that's like just understanding a concept that you may be trying to grasp. You go inside and you focus on it.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Indeed. This all this that we're reading right now, a lot of stuff is contemplation material. It's contemplated on.
Resonate.
Yeah. You gotta concentrate on it. Let's see. I'll do this one. Seemingly innocent, unimportant things sometimes get in our way and stop us doing a simple thing like showing gratitude or saying thank you, God, or thank you, source, when something good happens in our life. Is like priming the pump for abundance and manifestation. priming the pump in abundance and it's a type of and for manifestation of what you want. This first one, uh, this is also out of uh, um, this one here is out of Sri uh, Aurobindo. Oh my goodness. Sri
Arbindo, Aurobindo,
Aurobindo.
Aurobindo.
Sri Aurobindo. This is from Mother and Sri Aurobindo. This information here. So this is really some good contemplation stuff here. Now, the seemingly innocent and important. When I read this, when I was listening to this and they were speaking about that, I really seen myself into this all day. You know, things that I kind of put off, or there's nothing. They'll come back and bite you in the butt. They definitely would. And what I learned, don't take nothing for granted. Don't take nothing for granted. Everything have a purpose for your spiritual growth, for your soul's growth, for
Mm-hmm.
problems that you come through or obstacles or challenges for you to evolve yourself. Don't look at it as something bad. You have acquired your space where you at, enough energy in yourself to overcome that obstacle that what you think is not good for you. You have made it to do that. You can do that. You just don't fall off. You know, don't put yourself down about it. Here's one about unconditional love. Unconditional love, gratitude, and thankfulness. The universal consciousness reacts to this. Remember, we were just saying that earlier. Use unconditional love as an order for more of the good things that were just provided. The less you complain, the more gratitude you show, the more unconditional love you have, the more you give, the more you will receive, and the more you will be filled with the higher vibrations of love. The, the feelings of love in you will match the vibrations of the universal consciousness because it is universal consciousness that opens up the floodgates of the free flow of creative energy from the source of all things. I have I have also called it the universal storehouse of creative energy. This is why showing gratitude and saying thanks is so important. And when you do, good stuff start falling out of the trees upon your path. So be appreciative for everything, everyone, every day. Especially tell your mate, family, friends, loved ones how much you love and appreciate them. I love and appreciate y'all. Thank you. You
I
make
love
me
you. Appreciate
who
you.
I am. I wouldn't be me
Yes,
without you. That's real talk. It's
it is.
love. Anybody
Yes.
want to talk about these two? Got some insight on it?
Well, I just want to continue. Like, I know when we first got on the line, Sakari was on the line, and we were talking about gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And you were saying, wow, we're on one accord.
Yeah.
And, and as I had mentioned, I'm on day 8 or 9 of 21, my first 21 days of like really spending deep time in gratitude. And I have to just uh, really testify that ever since I like consciously sat down to say thanks for the period of time that I do, not only have I realized I've had so much more to be thankful for than I realized through the course of just a day, but all of a sudden, all these blessings and all these opportunities and knocks on the door have been occurring ever since. And what I've also found is that the practice has already deepened itself, giving me that, I want to say, guidance or direction. That's the word Sakari was using a few moments ago, as to what to add in the gratitude practice. And I have to tell you that I felt like a lot of times I was trying to make my daily practice something like really deep, and a lot of times it wasn't really authentic because it was still patterned after something that somebody else said we should do. And now that I'm just went back to well, my spirit guided me to go back to just a gratitude practice and build upon that. I want to tell you that I feel so filled, balanced, and I feel like I'm on point now where I didn't necessarily feel that when I may have even been chanting or doing something else. So I just want to say I'm grateful, and I have so much gratitude for what is manifesting right now, and the abundance. It's real. It's really real. That's all I have to say.
Really, really, real, real. I see now.
And I mean, every day some blessing has shown up.
Always.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm talking about financial opportunity came yesterday,
Yeah.
and every day it's been something. And I wasn't even like saying, send me something else. It was like, no, I got something else for here. This is. And I'm like, this was the best thing in the world. I'm like, how in the hell did I miss out on the most basic thing? And, and it was all over the place. It's like, no, just be thankful. And then thankful will tell you where that next thankful and what you're going to be thankful for.
Anybody else like to comment? Moving on up. Okay. Awakening. Awakening. Now,
Yes. Hi, I'm Sally Ellison with the Lawrencetown Times, and
this is Mother and Sri Aurobindo. Got you that time. Got you that time. This is Sri Aurobindo. This is contemplative information. It's about awakening.
I haven't heard from them. No.
The great evolutionary periods of humanity will take place when an individual becomes active, mentally, vitally, and spiritually alive.
Mhm.
What does that sound like to you? Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever perfection and collective consciousness can produce is only by the perfection of the individuals who constitute it. What that says to you. You're not going to get as much. You're going to get just as much as you have. Your information period is only going to create just that amount, that measure of information for what you have. So in other words, collectively, if all people is 10 people collectively can only count to 10, that's all they can do. But if 10 people can count to 10 and another person comes along can count to 100, what happens?
It's bigger.
Expands.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody expands because that's the information from the other one. Right. Not to say that one is better than the other one, but the information that this one brought to the group collectively helped the group go. So in other words, if a group of people who's not resonating high, they're only gonna get to them from the universe what they resonate off. So the thing of it is, keep in a high vibration. That way you'll get everything in high vibration that you want. Balance. All right. The individual is indeed the key to evolutionary movement, for it is the individual who finds himself/herself is who become conscious of reality. Okay, that's a kind of turn I wrote. That was kind of I kind of tweaked that one because that's mother and Strip, they language become. So I just kind of made it a little bit more poetic. The individual is indeed the key to evolutionary movement. You are the key to evolutionary movement. For it is you who find herself or himself to be connected to this great source and understands and becomes conscious of the reality of where you at. You become aware that you're aware of your surroundings and your purpose. You wake up. It's an awakening. This last one. His/her own life and the world's life would be to him. This one here was I couldn't really understand it, so I changed it up and kind of made it poetically. Okay, and it goes as his/her own life and world's life would be to him or her like a perfect work of art, a co-creation of the cosmic structure is striving spontaneous genius. So what I kind of pulled up they were saying is that when a person is living a life in a true expression, their authentic authenticity is that they're living an artistic life. Their life is coming from their heart, from their higher heart, their higher mind. It's really artistic because you know it's art. Everything is art. Because then that person kind of realized that what they're doing in this environment is reconstructing the cosmic universe, the structure of the universe, because you're a part of it. And if you feel that you need to evolve to do something more, you're evolving to do something more, and yet still the structure of the universe is evolving as well with you and as everyone else. So we're just totally connected in this statement right here. And in this statement, you kind of thrive in spontaneous genius. Yeah, I use spontaneous genius. It's something like living dynamic. I don't know if you ever heard. If you ever heard anything from the Saint Germain Institute, they always speak about living a dynamic action, living a dynamic action. Dynamic. And what they're saying about that is that when you are aware of your primordial, divine, beloved, higher self, and beloved mighty, I am present. You are present with all facilities of your spirit, higher self working through you, and you know that you're a God, you know everything, but you walking through in humility, you're creating in spontaneously, geniusly. So you're seeing reality as what it is, and somehow you got this quick feedback, you can change it. You understand how things work. It's spontaneous genius. I know that was kind of like a lot of words there, but it's maybe to make you think. What do you mean by that? Think about it. Anybody comments on this one?
I
It's
always have.
basic. Sorry.
No, you go, because I thought nobody was saying anything. Go.
Yeah, mine is quick. It's just basically what we started off speaking about earlier,
So,
just that awareness.
so in other words, it kind of shows that we're on the right track. Or I need to give you some more information because we already there. So I need to go somewhere else now. I'm seeing that
You need to rest in it.
rest
It's
in it.
not, you need to sit with it because
Sit with it.
it's not beyond you. You understand it. It's still coming together for you in a way for you to manifest it directly the way you see it should be.
Yeah.
But it's there.
And also it's there because it's manifesting collectively, right? You're
Yes.
speaking about the same thing. We're all speaking about the same thing and understanding scenarios, and then we go into these ancient traditions in Texas, and they're saying the same thing. So there's some validity in this. Validity. Okay, now here's one. Now this is from here on out. It's Mother and Sri Aurobindo. Uh, I thanks for putting this picture in there because I didn't have the picture of them. Yes.
No.
Okay. So some of all these kind of paraphrase them so we can really understand it what they were saying. Okay. The first one, widen yourself indefinitely into the cosmic existence around you. Feel yourself universal, one with all existence. You get that. Widen yourself in the indefinitely. Widen yourself and expand yourself indefinitely into the cosmic existence around you. So what I when they say that, it makes me feel that they're saying expand your awareness around your aura, your electronic circle. However, your energy field. You want to expand that into all the existence around you. So in essence, we have our field around us, but they say it's like 30 some feet that they can feel, they can sense it with gauges and stuff. But also, um, through the macabre meditation, you can activate your light body, and then that field goes to 55 or 60 feet into a universe. And I learned this meditation in prison. This is wow, it's powerful, and it's powerful meditation. And that field expands to 55 to 60 feet. It looks like the universe, right? And in that, you are connected to everything around you. Because if you expanding your field of your environment around you, you are that, and you're not that. Okay, as Mike say, you are that, you are that, and you're nothing. You're nothing because it's this universe. It came from nothing to something. So ultimately, we're nothing. It's a paradox in that. And anytime you see the paradox, and if you can come to terms with that paradox and say they both end, that's elevation. There's no more stagnation there because you concealed that paradox. Oh, I understand that. Yeah, they both end because this is for that and that is for that. And they're not going to interchange. In other words, you can't read, you can't be a mechanic and try to work on a stereo. That's two kind of different things. You know what I'm saying? One dude is making a car, the other dude is technical stuff. So it's just like that. You can't understand the spirit by using your brain. You probably can understand the spirit by using your mind. You probably can understand your brain by using your brain. You know, because the matter will take care of the matter, and the spirit will take care of the spirit. You can't. It's just like you saying trying to you speaking religious and you're spiritual. I get that because spiritual is everything and all things. Religion is like a doctrine. We got to keep it right here.
Right.
There's a understanding it goes through when you start expanding yourself. You understand that there's levels to this.
Yes.
Religion kind of reminds me of today's medical field.
It's an extension of it. It's an extension of it. Okay, here go our word. Integral oneness is the truth of all existence. Oneness is the truth of all existence.
Oneness.
I can go with that. Okay.
I second it. I'm going with that because I want to be liberated. I like how
Yes.
to dwell in your true being is liberated. And I was gonna say, and I completely understand that because we understand that we all are derived from the same source of creation, then there's no separation. And also I just feel like it takes off all that need to be right, to be the only one, to be a
Sir.
victim. And so I feel like this really I feel like I graduated by getting to hear this and see this because I'm choosing liberation and I'm choosing universal consciousness for the duration of my path in life. I'm not objecting religion. I'm not even objecting medicine or what everybody else feels they need to do to get them along in their path. I feel like I've been given the medallion, the mantle to pursue universal mind, universal life consciousness, and I'm going to take my cloak and I'm going to walk with it.
Okay. Okay. That what was that? Like Mother Mary and her mistress and her mysterious cloak with stars on it.
I'm walking it because everything else is just a bunch of confusion.
Or I
You know,
set. I should have said what I
Thank
set
you.
from the mysterious cloak. Yeah.
okay, well, thank you. I don't even know, but all I can say is that I understand what that means. Whoever it is, I know that's what I am, and I'm choosing that. And I left religion. I left it years ago, and I want to say, and to some degree, spirituality. That even that terminology, um, gets kind of fragmented because it's really based on perception and experience. Because if it
That's
hasn't
it.
been your perception or experience, then you don't agree with it, or you may have a problem with it. So I feel like, but in that, it's not to downplay who has that experience or who hasn't. I just know that just that universal oneness, not trying to separate yourself from other people. I feel like once you say yes to that, you say yes to greater things in life and not a limited thing. And so I'm just glad to be here. Thank you for this. Really, really and truly. I won't even sleep the same tonight. So thank you.
Anybody want to comment on either one of these bullet points?
Yeah, Delicia said some very important things, and this is what's going to actually heal the world from racism. When you actually, and this is the problem, why we're not there yet, and why why people be having these conversations that go nowhere, because they're all stenched in ego. And the problem with racism is a problem of consciousness. And I think that Black people were chosen to suffer through what we are suffering from, because it's really from the bigger picture. It's time for humanity to change and liberate itself. And it is through us being treated the worst of everybody on the very, very bottom. It's through us being elevated is where humanity is going to solve the rest of its issues and liberate itself from everything else. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything else. I mean, really, how we're treated is a reflection of how we treat everything else in our world.
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Hey, ring that bell.
Ring a ring. That's what I'm talking about. That was a good one there.
If you do history and all, even recent history, which is not that recent, in the 50s and the 60s, when there was this big surge, especially with in our community, for civil rights, in a social order where there is nothing civil going on. And when they overcame that particular event, women, children, other ethnicities, everybody got the benefit of it.
What's up?
It was about elevating the position that we're at the bottom, but being at the bottom, everyone else gets to reflect themselves, just to get beyond what's really happening to us worldwide.
I get
A
that.
concerted effort.
Yeah.
When they figured out that the only way they can neglect somebody, mistreat somebody, steal their land, their life, their wealth, their culture, was just determined by color. That's one way that you can overcome. Just let's decide that anybody dark, they'll be the downfall, and we'll all rise above. And just that little thought right there is frightening. But when you look at it, that's what's happening.
I think I was saying earlier, when you hold something back, ultimately you're holding yourself back. You're not letting it flourish, not letting it grow. You're not letting it be all it could be, so it can bring out all that you can be.
But it ain't stopping it.
It ain't stopping. But this is why a collective few are popping off like we are. Huh?
Yeah.
Anybody else want to take one?
Well, a lot of what, especially white people, what they do is they do this performative to make it seem like they're really for you, but they're really not. Like Robin DiAngelo, who wrote that book, that was just all performance, because all that billions of dollars that she made off that book didn't go not a dime to the Black community anywhere. It didn't go to anybody's GoFundMe account who lost a child due to police brutality. And, a lot of people are like, well, we're so liberal, because they go with other races of people, or like we elect these Democrats and they make all these policies and they give reparations to every race but us. And the people who benefit are the white looking minorities or white women or other minorities or Mexicans that come across the border, you know, this kind of thing. And the thing is, when we are actually pulled up to the top, then everybody else will come. But if you put others before us, and it's already written, God said that Black people are the pupil of the eye of humanity.
You know, and you know, I agree with you, and I haven't read that nowhere. I see it. I see it.
It's obvious, though. You can tell. There's always signs throughout every era.
I see. You know, I moved inside these apartments, and you know, I was going through a real harsh time in my life, but yet I was staying spiritually connected. I did have spiritual practices that I did every day, but I was a hard head. But and then the universe started manifesting in vision, vivid, and then next thing you know it, it's right there in front of me. Yeah. One day I was in meditation and I seen the universe, right? And the universe was moving. It was moving this way, moving that way, moving this way. It was going in circles and the circles and the circles. They were moving, spinning different ways. It was different colors, different variations of the different levels. And when I kind of like, I was coming out of it, and because I was coming out of it, I see it's like come out of it, I see nothing. Because, you know, the inside is where I came from. So I was coming out of it. I was seeing this all spinning, and it was an eye. It was an eye. It was an eye that was looking at me. Eye. It was an eye, and it was, you know, pretty colorful and everything. It was a vision I had seen. And then the next day, I'm never gonna forget this. The next day, I walk outside my apartment and I look down, and I see on the concrete some kind of stain of that eye that I seen that was right on the concrete. I don't know. Maybe subconsciously it was there and I seen it and then I drum about it. I don't know. But I'm just I just agree with you when you said blacks are the eye of humanity, because I had this vision and I'm kind of fascinated with the right and left eye of rock. You know, there's something there. I know there's something there.
Well, you know what's really interesting? That in that Bible that you were studying is based on everything out of Egypt. Well, the Kemet, because Ra is Amen in the Bible, and I gotta look it up again. And Thuman is Ma'at.
Right. Yeah.
So even when I was studying Christianity, no matter what they put before me, I always saw the color. Okay. I saw my reflection. I never saw what they saw. You know, even someone had to point out to me, they said, well, they made Jesus a blonde and pale skin. I said, no, he you know, and when he's praying, his skin looked pretty dark.
Did he actually really exist?
He's dark.
Did he really exist? Because it seems like everything in Christianity was borrowed from Kemet.
Well, that's what it was. They gave him a different name, but he was a real person. They just changed his complexion.
Jesus is Yeshua.
Yes, Yeshua.
Yeshua. And this person did all the same things that Jesus did in the same area.
And he studied in Kemet.
In Kemet. Yeah.
He studied in Egypt.
Kemet. So it's like
Egypt.
Kemet.
Okay. Yeah, Kemet is Egypt. Yeah.
And they had the lower and the upper. It spread, and there's this one poem, it's beautiful, man. And it's in the Bible. It's crazy. You don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about being in Egypt, and nothing could happen to them because they had two countries to their side. They had the wall of water to one side, and their own country. So there was nothing they could fear. Nothing could come against them.
Right. It was very protected.
Yes. And that's where everyone went to study. But what happened is they came to study and they set themselves up in that place. And after centuries and centuries, they figured out how to steal it.
It all started with Ptolemy.
Yeah.
When he was the first European that came in.
And Socrates studied.
Yeah.
Plato, all of them.
All of them.
Is all that book Stolen Legacy by Chick
Yeah, it is in Stolen Legacy among many other books.
Yeah, what you call it? Dr. Francis Quest Welsing has Stolen Legacies, and all it is a resource book. It tells you every book that it covers something of ours. But I tell you that Bible, all they did was just change the names. Yes. They pronounced them differently. That's our story. That's why it fits with us. So
I think, and I just want to say, and even in some of the European or other traditions, they're all saying the same thing, and they're just giving them different names. And if you notice, they all look like the people of that land. You know, the people will look like them. But I'll tell you something, like in some European countries that practice Christianity, they'll have a Black Madonna statue and picture up in the hot minute because they know Mama is Black. So they, right.
Especially Spain. Yeah. They have the artifacts. Everybody has our artifacts.
I'm glad that who was that? They was giving these treasures back to some community, some village in Africa. They need to do a lot of that and stop going inside these damn tombs, putting up these bodies. That's grave digging. Grave
robbing. It is. Yes, it is. Now I'm so crazy. Robbery. My thing is like they probably made a copy. They give it back the copy.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Yeah, I have to let that go. Let it go. See, that's my gossiping.
But that's good gossip though, because this is so much. This is good gossip. It's good gossip. I mean, you know,
expand us.
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
Only Sakari got that expanding gossip, that gossip that expand your mind.
right, and have you searching, and you know, have you looking for something. Gossip. Yes, you know, I just want to say this just about all of that. It's like at the end of the day, I don't care what path you're taking. You know what's right and what's wrong when it comes down to basic life, not who you're praying to, not who you're calling God or goddess or angel or, you know, ancestor. But at the end of the day, it's about your path and what you're doing with your time, how you treat yourself, how you treat other people. You know, everything is being recorded. There ain't nothing hidden up under the sun. So I just feel like people who want to continue telling a lot of lies are so deep that people don't even know the truth anymore. So you can't really get mad. But I feel that the spirit has instilled in us, as I tell Ray all the time, you know, that balancer, that chain of knowing that this is right or this is wrong. And I think ultimately that's how we're judged and given access to certain things in this life or not.
Yeah, I think we hit on it earlier. It's about something you're used to. The lie is something people are living that they've gotten used to, or the majority of people, because it's comfortable. It doesn't shape what's happening now. But the minute you get an awareness, then things get kind of unbalanced until you understand what makes you feel alive, what makes you feel present, you know? Purpose. Yes, and to be in connection with nature. So that's why I'm having a hard time with this moon thing, but but nature, you know, but I can understand they sometimes might put something up there different, but things happened on Earth because of the moon. Now, that could be because it was putting things in order here for people to live, you know, but make you go.
Look and leave my moon alone. Look and leave my moon alone. Make you go. But you know, I was gonna say, and I'm gonna tell you how I really perceive the moon. Since you mentioned the moon, I really perceive it as almost, you know, like the hourglass. You know, and if you're right, okay. So if you're aligning with that, you can use it as a calendar. You know, and I'll tell you something, you really can't manifest with the moon And there's just something about it that's different from just basing it off the regular calendar. And so that's how I see it, even though I have some understanding about the tides and and different things,
Exactly.
facts that they
And
that is
physical
spoken of.
structure of women. Yes.
Right. And so I feel like we can relate it to the womb of of a woman and creation and a lot, and I feel like if one wants to use it and embrace it as that without having to get scientific with it, be blessed.
But they've
Because
gotten
that's what I'm doing
scientific with it too. They've gotten scientific with
more
it
and
by
more now.
saying it's like, it was placed there to control an element. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that element, because we're so full of water, it affects us in a different way. So I don't know. This is interesting.
That is very
Hey.
interesting.
But yeah, I could see that depth. But who wrote that? Who wrote that? Where they find that?
That was Sri Mother and Sri Aurobindo. That last.
Okay, now I might could hear them, but I bet you who they got it from was darker than that.
You need to stop. You stop
Let me check
gossiping.
out South India.
You stop.
Check
You
out
stop.
South India.
You stop
listen,
gossiping.
Have you ever heard of Indus Kush?
Nope.
Who?
That's India. Indus Kush. Indus Kush is Indus is the feminine aspect, and Kush is the masculine aspect.
Oh.
And they're together. They're together because if you look at everything that they do, it's just a feminine aspect of the masculine aspect. They have the same deities, same type of information, but they're kind of somewhat different. So I'm not going to say the Comedians and the Vedas are the same entities, and they're different, but it's kind of based on the same thing, and they're akin. They're akin. There's some Sanskrit words that's right in Medu, and also there's a lot of people, a lot of Africans that I speak to in America that speaks Medu, and they say this is a forgotten language. Nobody, they don't want you to. Okay. Yeah.
It's oral. It's all oral.
It's all oral. It's oral translation.
There are African tribes though that inhabit India and Pakistan.
Yeah.
Well, the mixture came out of whatever happened with all that studying. But yeah, South India is the biggest part. Yeah, and they're dark. But what happens is they came up with this what you call it, the unclean, or
these caste system where they have the untouchables and that.
The untouchables. Those were people dark. That was that whole suite that they decided to push. But people have been intermarrying through there, and I mean, what I can go back to the Muslim theory about the creation of Caucasian was this scientist Shabazz. Nobody ever heard that?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay. Hold on a second. Remember,
basically it's grafting.
It's the big-headed scientist.
Yes.
So you're saying that basically these people were not born; they were created.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Okay, because see, this is what I remember. I was saying this to you just like about a week ago, Ray, when I was saying, I said, wow, I wonder if some of these people were created and not actually born.
They call it the theory of the Yaku.
Theory of the Yaku. How do you spell Yaku?
Yeah. Okay.
Yaku. I'll get it for you, baby. I got
it. Okay, cool. You know what? But see, that just goes to show. See, I know I'm not crazy. I may have been read this anywhere, but it was like I said, I believe because there's something that's a little bit different. It's almost like a hybrid.
It's there.
Okay, and then if you're not careful, now they're doing this AI mess. So pretty soon we'll start seeing more and more human people who are basically not all human.
AI, what's that?
Artificial intelligence.
Oh yeah.
Because there's something going on. There's something going on. So I was going to say, and maybe part of this too of wanting everybody to get away from, I want to say, staying socially separated with all this stuff so that you'll lose touch with reality and begin living that simulated life.
Call a pandemic.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now you know they're gonna take this video down. So go when you said pandemic. They're gonna take it down now. Yeah, I think there's so much more to this, wanting us to really integrate into simulated lifestyles. And I say this because I don't want to get off subject because I know Ray wants to go on, but I just kind of came up with a really deep understanding about all of these connections through Zoom, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these different social media connections,
Courts.
which are cords, and thus we begin really living a very virtual, compartmentalized, simulated lifestyle.
Yeah,
And then
nature's important.
so yeah, you got to get out there. So anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone because I definitely want to talk about that another time. But this is so serious. This is so serious. But thank you. All right, I'm a hush.
Okay. The mother and Sri Aurobindo. Oh my goodness, I had it at first. Mother and Sri Aurobindo.
Here, like
Okay.
Sri Lanka.
Yeah, Sri Lanka. Yeah.
Seer.
Yeah.
Sri Aurobindo.
Yeah. It's pronounced Sri. Sri Aurobindo.
Oh, okay, Sri.
Sri.
That's the new one for me.
Yeah. It's a divine proverb. You get Sri in front of your name when you reach a certain divinity.
Like reverend or bishop.
Reverend,
Yeah.
Okay. Humanity's highest knowledge is when. Tamika, you like to read this one? Read verse 3.
Humanity's highest knowledge is when the veil will be broken and we see entering into the light in which there is no ignorance.
Ooh.
What do you think about that?
Woo. Woo.
Censorship will be gone.
I put a bell on that one. Okay. The next one.
Ignorance is the absence of the divine eye of perception.
That one.
Wow.
The supreme experience internalizes all knowledge and experience.
Okay. I like all those. All those resonate very deeply. And this is supreme experience, eternalized, all-knowing experience. I'm pretty sure all of us here experience that through some time in our life when we come to that. Then we kind of forget it. Then we bring some stuff down. My goal is to exist in that and walk in that. And I think I can do it. Given some time. Nothing. Well, it could happen like that. But I go through the process. I'll go through the process. Okay, Sakari, you want to get the next three?
Okay, the ultimate consciousness sees reality as a whole.
Easy.
Invisible whole vision.
Is that?
In divisible whole vision. Whoa.
That's 20. That's I guess you can say that's 360 degrees vision and everything all at one time. Past
Whoa.
and future.
What? So one eye is going that way.
No, you got a million eyes like that peacock.
Woo.
That's what a lot of Hindus, they use the peacock symbolizing your all-seeing eye and seeing everything 360 degrees past.
This one right here. Oof.
Okay, the last one.
In an unveiled perception, the individual perceives the true self to be one and being with the transcendent, seated and dwelling within it. Whoa.
Okay, that's that one. I this last one here. Praxis Alexia speaks of this. This part here. This is somewhat like the unitary awakening. Do you say that? The last one is the reference of unitary awakening.
Which one now?
I was asking Tamika because I'm pretty sure she read this part in the source code book. And unveiling the unveiled perception, the individual perceives the true self to be one and being with the transcendent, seated and dwelling within it. That's kind of
Right.
like unitary awakening that you observing the observer observe. And
Inner vision.
individual. Yeah, you
Yep,
observe and
yep,
observe,
yep,
observe,
yep,
and be an
observe.
individual. Go ahead. Say it again. Say it to Tamika. Say it.
That's like consciousness aware of it, construct aware, consciousness aware of itself.
Yes.
And God is experiencing itself through us.
Right.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
agree.
that's right. That's why the mind gets the directions,
It is there.
and it's there.
We're gonna move to the next one. Another one. Mother and Sri Aurobindo.
Yeah. Aurobindo.
A unifying and harmonizing knowledge is what finds the way. Their oneness and integrality are native, the true way of individual and communal living. This is I think this somewhat was a typo, or I think I put it verbatim. Because some of these see they were very hard to comprehend it, contemplative, like I said. So we got to contemplate on these things. Uh, the unifying and the harmonizing knowledge. Okay, the unifying and harmonizing knowledge is the aspect of all is one. Okay?
Mhm.
Is what this is what finds the way. When you say all is one, this finds you. This gives you a path. You're where oneness and integrality are native, where everything integrates into one. That's his being. That's what they mean by. That's what they mean by native. That's his beingness. The true way of individual and communal living. Now,
Yeah, I keep thinking about oh boy, the Emperor of Egypt making that speech at the nations. Right now, his mind is on the other side of my head. But the line he kept saying was that until everyone is treated basically the same, nothing was going to be settled.
that's a true statement because if all is one and we're communal living, there's an imbalance. There's imbalance. Okay.
So there's no passive observers.
There it is.
Love it. Yeah.
Okay. Did y'all get this one? The Gnostic being will not accept to live for the ego. He or she will be aware of something greater than that half truth.
Wow.
Aware of divine reality for that universe transcendent, they will live.
Wow.
Okay. Now that's going to say that when you start peeling back these onions, you
Yeah.
get to your true self, and you're not living with that lens of ego.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Haile Selassie, and Bob Marley sang the words that he presented at the nation.
Right.
And that was like, this just hits me the same way that did. Divine reality for that universal transcendence, they will live.
Yeah. In transcendence. And we bypass all the past, but take the good of that past with us to keep creating a future. I would say this. I'm a very avid coach of Sankofa.
Mhm.
A lot of people say don't live in the past, be in the now. I'm not with all that. I'm with
Body's facing forward though.
yeah.
The head is just looking back.
Yeah, I understand about the past, I understand about the present, and I understand about the future. So I'm not going to take these apart. I'm going to use them as they are to be used. You can't just get rid of the ego and think you still got a self. You're not. So it's the same thing with past, present, and future. Because the past is telling you where you come from. Your present is where you at now. And if you're
Mhm.
holding that forever, eternal present, you're gonna start creating your future.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. I would like, in my eye, I'm very much aware of the present, but yet still I'm projecting where I want to be and see myself in the future and let that pull me towards it.
Touche. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Okay.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I think of myself going in the way I should grow.
There you go. I like that. You walk in your path. Anybody want to tell me?
I would just say, just based on what Sakari just says, that, by growing the way I should go, you know, and for me,
Go or go ahead.
no, no, go, no, say it.
It's either way you could say it's still the same. It's going or growing in the way I should go or
Grow and
going the way I should grow.
right.
It's
Yes,
It's
right.
interchangeable.
I love it. It's interchangeable, but I want to thank you for that statement because in the end of it, like for some reason, because I may be in that mindset of the way you put it, Ray, about the past, present, and future. And granted, there may be other people who may not necessarily be on that same track, but it is not my job. And I'm speaking for me right now. I'm saying I had to come to realize that it's not my job to worry about what they are doing. It matters what I am doing. And the more I do what I'm supposed to do, the more change I'm bringing to
World.
every part of this world. And then now I'm also going to be connected to and aligned with people who are in that same frequency all over this globe. And so I just choose, like I said, I'm carrying my mantle. I'm walking with my cloak forward with this. So I'm just so grateful to be having this conversation. And this is a graduation. And I don't know about everybody else because I don't know how you guys are speaking with, but I know that these are not conversations on this level um, of just talking about it. And of course, it resonates because it's already in you, and you already believe in this. Maybe not the way they do it or what have you, but you already have consciousness of it. And so I feel like this was like my highway ticket to heaven on earth. So I thank you again, Ray, for bringing this out on
Ashe.
this day at this time because this is where we are in this world. It's not just us. It's like I feel like the whole world is at a standstill of like, are you going to do the right thing or are you going to choose to do the same thing? I'm giving you a choice, and I'm gonna let you, and you're gonna see who's gonna win.
Yeah, I think we've been this place a few times.
Ring that bell on
Right?
that one.
Yeah, right. And I
More
feel
than
like
a
even,
few. Yeah.
but I do feel like the situation with brother George Floyd, brought the world to a standstill. Yeah, we know all these kind of things have happened countless times and things that we'll never hear about that was probably more horrific and tragic than what he went through. But it was like, hey, the world had to stop. And then it had to be a black man of any other man, and now, you know what I'm saying? And so now it's like, no, things have already changed for us. And it's us for us to be the chain of that change going
Whoa.
forward. And I'm walking with that. I'm walking with that. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff happened to me just living here in the city. I got stories that maybe is different from what other people have gone through, but I'm free at last, and I'm walking in my
Yeah.
liberation.
Yeah.
I love it, baby. You said something very powerful, and it sounds real cool. Be the change in the change you want to see.
Yes,
Be the change, that link
right,
in the
right.
change you want to see.
And I want to
Like
It's
see.
advocating, it's being a abolitionist. There's so many different names.
indeed,
Being that
DT also,
change.
in that
DT
change.
also said, um, are you going to do something different? Are you going to do something higher? Or are you going to keep recreating the same thing?
Right.
Mm-hmm. What you gonna do? The
Be the
ball in your court.
difference. Be the difference.
Be the difference.
Be the chain on the chain thing. But Tamika said something. Tamika, you said something earlier that was really interesting, and it was like, and I don't want to where I'm verbatim, I'm kind of paraphrasing what you said, but basically you were saying a lot of people will say of other nationalities, Caucasian, be it in this case, you know, they appear to be wanting to help us blacks or minorities, but a lot of times it's just a show. And I have to just tell you that I actually left a major group on Facebook because they had a form of seemingly welcoming, you know, black women and spirituality or being spiritual coaches, but really in reality, you know, it's not a place for a black woman to thrive and really come alive. And then it's almost like you have to change your essence to match that vibration if you're going to get in and fit in and be able to do anything. And so, you know, and a lot of times people think they're doing something good by opening the door. Oh, I'm going to let some black people come in and, you know, you can come experience this. No, I came here to teach you, but you're not humble enough to see the lesson. You think you're opening an opportunity for me when now you just lost one. And so, and they look for broken black people to get into these groups because it's still their way. And I even come into contact with some of the African American or just say African peoples from this group. And I'm going to tell you something. They're like whitewashed over. Don't record, don't post this video, Ray,
It's a
because I was going to
disconnect.
say, yeah. And I had to get out. You know that movie Get
Yeah.
Out?
It's a disconnect.
I had to get out, not trying to create a problem, but I have to believe enough in myself and what I've been given that I don't need you to thrive. I don't need you to move forward in what I'm trying to accomplish. So I decided to start my own thing. And I'm cool. And I'm gonna take it one day at a time. And granted, you may and not getting deceived because they may have a following of 1,000 to 5,000 people, you know, in their groups. But I guarantee you it's not going to serve you, especially
No.
if you don't believe in you. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to thank you for bringing that out. And I had to let that go. And I was like, oh, but there's potential there. And who knows, you know, I might be able to find some clients there. No, you're not. You're going to be in there begging and then can't even hear your own voice no more, trying to be white again. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, thank you.
Oh my goodness.
That's why I've left religion. I'm with all a lot of these new age spiritual groups and religion too, because you find it in all this stuff, and even sometimes you can't relax when you're with your own brothers and sisters because they're just as bad, if not worse.
Oh my gosh, you know what? Okay, Ray, don't post this video. Girl, I have to just know I'm serious because that's real too. Because I feel like it's almost like if you're not woke enough or black enough, or you're not wearing a cloak that certain way, then you get ostracized and not really given the voice to express your genius and your gift because you don't dress and look or maybe feel exactly the same way how other people feel. So it's kind of like this is why this teaching is so liberating. Forget about all that. Just go forth and do the work that we're called to do and rise and shine. And that's it. I'm done with all of that. I'm with you. I stand with you tall. I can go on for an hour on that one. So I'm going to leave that alone. So I don't get my ass kicked.
Bring it from within to the out. Sorry I say about that.
All right.
I think this is the last one. Okay. How about this one? Sakara, you want to get these two?
Okay, let me see. He who reconciles the one and the many, the eternal unity and the eternal multiplicity, reunites their soul with God, universe, and discovers the divinity in the universe. Ashil.
Okay. Ashil. Yeah. Nothing comes to those who doesn't see. And reconcile the paradoxes. I will go with that. Reconcile the paradoxes, the things that don't seemingly go together, but they do because it's all is one.
He who reconciles. Woo.
Number two.
A multiplicity of being, finding through the free and luminous play of their divine individuality, all the multitudes of joy in of their differences in oneness. Hallelujah. I mean,
they're embracing their uniqueness, their authenticity. This is what that real communal kind of living is. That everyone expressing the next one uniqueness, because there is no copycat.
No.
So you must give respect to everyone's uniqueness because they're that unique expression of divinity, right?
I like that free and luminous play.
Free and luminous.
Shining.
I like that.
Anybody want to comment on that one? On those two?
I believe in the oneness.
Now that was the last one. Now check this out, you guys. At this time, I want us to take a break, get up, go to the bathroom, chill out for a minute. Just give yourself 3 minutes. 'Cause I want to step away. I need to use the bathroom restroom. So these are 3 minutes. 'Cause I got something for you. These two here is something nice. We're gonna listen to it. This is the meditation part. This is the contemplation part. Everything that we went through, we can contemplate on what we went through and also listen to what's going to be said. It's gonna clean it up. I don't know if y'all seen this video or not, but you're gonna love it. Give me 1 minute.
All righty.
Okay.
I'll be back.
I'm here, so when you come back, you know, you don't have to stare at the screen.
I'll be back.
Okay.
Well, you sound good.
There we go. Okay, we're back for the meditation. And any insights that y'all get? Let's talk about what you hear and what you get. Anyone?
I'm in awe. I felt very blessed and honored to hear those words and that sound. And it just, like I was saying, it really just tied in everything that you taught about tonight and the direction that things are going in this world. And it's so beautiful. I can't wait to listen to it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Each time I listen to it, I guess I get to a point where I'm so at peace that the next thing I know, everything is void.
Yes, I feel that.
I just get at peace. I gotta learn what to do best with my peace now. Because it's got me, I don't know, the oneness is like just feeling a part of everything, the air, the fire, the sun, the sound, it's just all of it.
Resonance.
Yes.
Cohesion.
I get tranquil.
Yeah. I'm going to add, you know, ever since I first heard it, I always kind of go back to that. It says everything. I put the link in the chat, so yeah, and it says everything, and the music is just right on point, and it just fit right with the snippets of these little books that I've read and that I'm reading. You know, just to start a conversation, and start that conversation, think a little bit more deeper and expansive than where you may be thinking of before you even got in the conversation. You just start dialogue to talk about it. I like talking about these things because it sharpens the way to how I can explain it when I hear other people explain it in their way. I can draw from that. Yes, I can understand that. It resonates. Everything that he has said was in connection to what we went over, and also it tied to me. It kind of like tied into little knots, and packaged it in a simpler thing. That everything that we went over, even though they may not say the stuff that we were talking about, but it's in the same field, and it just made into a nice little package into a music form, and I feel that it would be great if since that's why I did the video last. I know it's 10 minutes, and I kind of wanted to do it in the beginning, but after I went over it, I said it fit better at the end. Just want to give an experience, start a good memory, and you know what you do with those good memories, you use them to charge yourself by sitting and contemplating about it and expand that spirit that you made by even thinking about that. Because it's conscious bubble, so to say, like in the Father's love. Anybody? What do you think? Anybody else?
I like the oneness of it. It just tuned me into that. It made me think of so many different things, but all of them pointing to a specific, and I just got peaceful.
What do you guys think about what caused that effect?
Wow.
What do you think, Smith?
Just being all a part of nature, just
You because like also in the last part of your message, you had said that you were studying development of consciousness and how. Could you explain something in that term that you were studying and kind of connected with that video and what we went over?
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah.
I was asking Tamika if she could explain that. Did you?
Oh, wait to me.
Did you hear me? She on mute though.
Oh, she got pushed.
I thought I was. Oh my
No,
goodness.
yeah, he was on mute. So, can you do that? Did you hear what I just said?
Say it again.
So you didn't hear what I just said. I asked. All right, remember you put the text in the feed. You put this text about everything that we were talking about tonight, and in the end, you said that you were now studying how consciousness is developed. Well, I don't want to go right back to the video to the text, but I'm just asking, could you elaborate on the last part of the text when you said that you were studying how consciousness is being developed in individuals or how it do develop? You remember?
I was referring to the different epochs, different levels. How we grow, and how it kind of explains how some people have a wider perspective and wider consciousness than others because of their filters.
And what we can connect filters to?
Their context of their life altitude, of how they interact and see life and how they interact with it.
Perception.
And that
okay.
how well a person can connect to the oneness and understand it.
That's what I was saying. The training. You say you're actually doing a training on how measure.
Yeah. You know what? I'm doing Roman's course, the extra on how to actually. You know how we get our things measured. Allison and Steven are doing it, but they also, when I was in the NH.
So you doing that training? That's what you were thinking of.
Yeah, that one.
Oh,
That's another one that was offered to NHU and NHU Elite before he got rid of it and plunged all of us into Praxis Aletheia.
okay.
And like a few people took it, and I wanted to because that was like an area that I was really, really passionate about.
Okay. Now I ask that question. I think I didn't. One thing I didn't do, I didn't put a good thank you file. That was the last video. That was the last of the slide.
It's on there.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta read back and share it. No, because really that meditation, I was listening to that meditation. I'm gonna tell you what I was doing. I sit up and start doing some yoga poses, just breathing into it and jamming to it. So I came out pretty hype.
You went in.
It soothed me.
Yes, it does. It did. Definitely. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Now where we at?
It's like the drumming. It's healing.
Okay.
There's the last one. It says thank you. Namaste.
We're kind of with that. So I'm going to rush right through it. But these videos, I sent the video in the link.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And thank you. Namaste. The divine in you. No, this is divine in me. I'm just divine in you. I always just say the divine in you. I'm just the divine in me.
Honest.
Right. This is better. I was wrong.
No, you're great.
You're good.
No, I did it wrong.
It's okay.
Well, just say you like this way better. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't do it wrong.
I kind of misunderstood it. But
Namaste.
Yeah, I just want to say, man, this was good.
Yes, it was.
I really did. I just on the notes, a lot of all this stuff that we went through is everywhere on the internet. So I don't think we should have no kind of problem having this video up.
Yeah, I like.
And thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
I'm gonna go off recording for a minute.
How do I get back?